want to welcome you back to this Rockin' Customs exclusive video on songwriting. Now, this is part 2. In our first video, we talked a lot about the inspiration that comes behind the meaning of your song itself, how you get into some of the poetry, making sure that you're showing and not telling, and then getting a clear line between when you want to be picky and when you want to be a perfectionist. Now I want to get into some of the rhyming schemes that are going to come in your songs and chord structures. And so when we come in, the next tip that I want to give you, tip number 4, would be to be creative in your rhyming schemes. And what I would love to do, I've got a resource on the video that you could check out that shows some of these, that actually show how they go. There are several, really there's nothing new under the sun. So really there are 4, 5, 6 different rhyming schemes that are used in almost everything. And you probably settle into over and over and over again, if you're anything like me, the same one. You just do the same one and you're like, why does all my stuff sound the same? So I would encourage you, first of all, vary your listening. Listen to a lot of different stuff. But then you could take this resource and even start to play some with rhyming schemes. So I'll tell you what I mean. So these rhyming schemes, the first one you'd have would be called an A rhyming scheme. Literally what it means, 4 lines that we're looking at, and all 4 lines have the same rhyme at the end, the same rhyming sound. And so if you wonder, would that work? Well, it worked for somebody who sold some albums called Adele, right? She had her song, Hello, and it's that, hello, can you hear me? I'm sorry, that makes me laugh even getting that. Here we go. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be. We were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet. So now if you look at this, 4 lines, and you probably didn't think, oh man, it all sounds the same, because it doesn't. But her rhymes were me, be, free, and feet, which would be a near rhyme. So that would be an A rhyming scheme. All right, so the next rhyming scheme would be an A-B. That would be when every other line has a rhyme scheme. So go back to the 80s for this one. Africa by Toto, right? You have, I hear the drums echoing tonight, but she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:30 flight, right? So as we're looking at this, you have the rhymes are tonight, conversation, flight, salvation. So A, B. And then you can go on and on from there. You have A-A-B-B would be a rhyme scheme. So you get into the old Greatest Showman, right? When the sharpest words want to cut me down, gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. So you look and you have down, out, those would be your near rhymes for the first 2, and be, me for the second 2. So if you notice, none of these songs sound repetitive in what they're doing, and yet they're all following different rhyme schemes. You have XA in places that you can go. That would be your Let It Go with Idina Menzel. Coming where she's, the snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. So you actually have 2 rhymes in that whole thing. And this song went platinum, but tonight and isolation don't rhyme with one another. So the reason they go XA is those 2 X lines, they don't rhyme. And so it's the second and the 4th line that rhyme. And you could go on and on. I've got several different ones that you can check out on our page. There's the XAA, AAAB, ABBA, and so on. And then what you'll also start to see, and I have this on the resource for you, is they're not always going to be going on 4-line schemes. Sometimes it'll be 3 lines, sometimes it'll be 5 lines. But you can go in and kind of check out how those go. So the first thing I would encourage you to do, broaden your listening, and then when you get into the rhyming schemes, check out some of these other things and try something different than you've tried before. That's automatically going to change what you're doing. The second thing I would encourage you to do on this video, our 5th tip that's coming, is to try new chord structures. So when it's coming, once again, we do this with our lyrics and we do it with our chords. You probably tend to get into a lot of the same things. So in this tip, I'm talking to songwriters, and this will really make the most sense for musicians. I want to encourage you, this would be a really key one that you want to look at the resource that we have. It'll make a lot more sense to you. But there's a basic rule that comes, and if you can understand the chords that go in with a key on a song, this is going to help you a whole lot. So if you're looking, there's a basic rule in any key, so I'll use the key of C as an example. your 8 notes that come in C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? When you follow those all the way up the octave, there's gonna be minors and majors that go with that, and probably some you haven't tried before. So actually, normally, when you're going up a chord scale, normally your 1 is gonna be a major, your 2 is gonna be a minor, your 3 is gonna be a minor, your 4 is gonna be a major, your 5 is gonna be a major, your 6 is gonna be a minor, your 7 is gonna be this really funky diminished chord, and then you get your 8. So when you look at that, already there you're looking at majors and minors that go based on the scale you're in. If you can pay attention to that, maybe you're regularly writing in C and you're just playing C, A minor, F, G for everything, and not recognizing that you can also mine out that D minor, that E minor, that there are other places you can go, or even that really fun one that shows up every once in a while. So you can check those out. On the resource for you, what I've listed are some popular progressions that are gonna come where you can actually see the way some of these go, because it's not just getting those chords, but getting them in the right order, so that you can see there are places where you'll step into your 1, 4, 5. What I'm referring to there is, if you're looking at your chords, if I'm playing in C, right, this would be my 1 chord, my 4 chord would be F, my 5 chord would be. So again, just as I walked up and counted those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when you look at those and pay attention, I've listed out, it looks like we've got about 10 different ways that you can do that on the resource. I would encourage you, check that out and do it. So you wanna mix up your rhyming schemes, you wanna mix up your chord structures. Tip 6 that I would love to give you is set regular times to write. So this would be, if I can get just as basic as I can, what is going to make you a writer is writing. Set aside time and do it. Don't be so perfectionistic in what you're doing that you're thinking, until I write just the best song ever, I'm just not gonna write anymore. I gotta tell you, I just spend lots of time I'll sit at a piano and just see when something comes. And there are lots of afternoons where maybe nothing really comes together that way. If you're going through a time right now that you're struggling with inspiration, what I would encourage you to do is take somebody else's song, start to play their song, remove the lyrics from it, and then start to vary it just a little bit. You have no idea how much inspiration will come when you start playing some of that and just put an alternate melody. And again, it's just to get you out of that funk and get you going. But what you want to do is set aside times to write. And then the final tip that I would encourage you to be a songwriter is write down every inspiration and record every melody. So for me, I'm carrying my phone around all the time. I've got a voice memo app on here. And so what I will do at any point, I could be in the car driving down the street and all of a sudden I'm hearing a melody or I'm hearing a line, and man, I'm putting the line in a notepad, or I'm recording literally, as bad as it's gonna sound, it's just for me. I'm gonna record down that melody and get there, or I'll get on my piano and start to play. And it's been amazing, because some of the songs that I've written that are my favorites, I got a little 20-second piece, and maybe it was 4 months or 5 months past before I got something further. But because it was there, I was able to go back and say, there was something about that I loved. There was something worth fighting for. So my encouragement is, anytime you get something, and I'm not talking about the stuff you're like, I wrote this and I hate it. No, if you hate it, it's probably not gonna last. But when you hear something that's worth fighting for, I would encourage you to just come in. The last thing I would say to you as a songwriter is, listen, as you stay creative, as you set aside the time, you're writing something that needs to be seen, it needs to be heard. Get with other people, share it, and stay with the art. It'll pay off.